You gotta think about it. Think about it.
Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well. I'm here to do a shortish video. I mentioned it on probably a couple of vids back that I've been out to Spain. It's like a horror sci-fi festival called Sombra. Should have worn the t-shirt. I did get a t-shirt, but the Sombra festival, and it took place in Murcia, which is, well, my geography is rubbish, but like southeastern Spain, not about 50 minutes away from Alicante. So I've got some friends that live out there that run a really awesome like language school, and they were actually, I guess, contracted by the event to do the translating. So as well as a few, I say, Spanish creators, because it was more than kind of film directors, it was kind of film, comic books, all sorts, and I'll put some stuff up on screen as I'm talking through. But yeah, they were basically contracted so that they could, mainly as part of Q&As, but there was like a bit of a ceremony at the end. They could translate for the artists that didn't speak much Spanish. So as well as, I hadn't seen them in a while. It's great. Obviously good opportunity to go and see the event. It's the 13th year that they've been running it, and I thought I'd go and check it out. So I've got some post-its, because it was middle of March last month, and my brain is like a bloody sieve if you watch anything on the channel. So it did run for, I think it was like a good week or so, maybe 7 to 10 days. But I was there for the long weekend, basically right at the end. So I kind of flew over on the Thursday afternoon, locally to me, Southend Airport. So it's like 5 minutes down the road. So it's fairly civilized. Got there in the afternoon. Had a good evening. We went to grab a bite to eat. Nice kind of, I guess, kind of tapas type stuff. Went to this awesome restaurant, sat by the bar. They just had all the foods arranged, and there was loads of nice stuff in there. A lot of the food, because on the coast is kind of seafood related, but there was all sorts. So it was I ate well. But that's not it's not a food channel. But it was awesome food. But on the first day, on the Friday, the first event that my mate was translating for was for, in fact, it was a British comic artist, Peter Milligan. And I read a few comics. I'm not massively into it, but I did the Wikipedia thing and Googled and looked at what he'd done, and the guy had done a fair bit of stuff, kind of 2000 AD bits, some Judge Dredd, some Marvel bits. I think Spider-Man, a few things where he'd obviously created or taken a bit of a story arc and then kind of illustrated against it. But he was fairly, I think, fair to say, anti, like a lot of people, very anti Disney in terms of and like Marvel Studios in terms of what they've done with some of the comic books, and just how the characters haven't really developed. And in his opinion, it was fairly, I think we're seeing it because it's a bit oversaturated in terms of all the films that come out, but a bit weak writing. But he'd also done some stuff with Jamie Hewlett, who they co-created the, or Jamie Hewlett created the drew the Gorillas, as in the UK band with Damon Albarn. Drew some of the illustrations for that. So this guy had kind of partnered up with him on some things. So really, really nice guy, very well, very opinionated, like I say, in terms of certain things, and being wokeness going too far, and it was really interesting, and just learning about how that kind of industry has changed, and a lot of it, unfortunately, probably not for the better. So we did that. And then I'm losing track of days. I think it was the next day. Friends had some things to sort out. A link to the school they were working on. So I kind of had a little stroll down the beach, and also found this really awesome China, it's a shop run by kind of Chinese family, real like bric-a-brac. But the thing that interested me most was a huge like toy aisle, just full of arguably cheap plastic toys. Probably wouldn't pass any health and safety stuff over here. Almost a bit reminiscent of some of the toys I remember, growing up, both in the UK and also when we went on holiday to France. Just real like cheapy stuff. I think I've got any. I've got a couple to grab. I won't put them on screen. I'll show you. So one of them, for example, this kind of centaur guy. It's about €1, €2 max. But yeah, the series was like Centaur Man versus was it like Lizard Man or something? So I got the Centaur. If I go back, I might, if it's still around, I might get the Lizard guy. And so yeah, for the princely sum of €1, Robot Wars or Robot Gero. Bit of a kind of a mech setup with a bit of a dagger going on there. But yeah, cool stuff like that. So that was just fun, just having a little look around there. And then we did the first, I guess, Q&A with a film director. So the guy, and I hadn't come across his stuff before, but I did my homework before going there and watched some of his films. Javier Jean, and a few of his things. I mean, on Amazon Prime, on Netflix. Not the best of films, but he actually did a video game adaptation, the Hitman film. So he did that, but most of his stuff is very like gritty, a bit like Hostel type vibes, a bit of full on gruesome, but predominantly in French. But yeah, really some good stuff. He did one. What's the one I watched? I think it was Frontiers, where I think there's Parisian riots. Everything's kind of kicking off, and the group of people that just robbed like a bank. They got money. They need to escape the city, and they kind of drive out of town, go into the country. They kind of pull over in this place. Thinking, we'll just spend a nice, decent night in a hotel, and obviously the hotel's run by, without spoiling it, just some absolute like wackos, and then all hell pursues, and it's full on gore fest. I was watching it, I think, on the day just before I was about to get my flight, so it was a bit of just after breakfast. It probably wasn't the best time to watch it, but he's done some good stuff, and he's got something coming up on Netflix. excuse me, towards the end of the year. Called Sous la Seine, which is under the Seine, as in the River Seine in Paris. And apparently it's a bit of a, not like Sharknado, but like a shark type affair in the river. Everything's kind of kicking off, so he was quite excited about that. So it should be a bit cheesy, but yeah, he was saying it was Netflix. It should be shown on. So that was cool. And then what else? Yeah, there's a few exhibitions. So everything to do with the festival was scattered around the city. So it wasn't in one place. Obviously, there was the kind of comic book place, but then in cinemas, in cafes, bookshops, etc., etc. And one of the bars had just an exhibition of like horror posters, mainly 70s and 80s posters, and that was really, really cool. To see some like fantastic design. So they had a bit of a coffee, had a chill, and there's some things also being sold, some pin badges. Got a few. Here's one I've got handy because I was wearing it the other day. A little pin badge of Homer Simpson. I think it's the Treehouse of Horrors. There's one, maybe not that, but there's one where basically Homer finds out that Japan are using his face to basically like advertise some merch. It's super silly, but yeah, like thought I'd grab that. So that was cool. And then the main guy, or the main director of the event was Richard Stanley, like a South African director. And again, I did my homework, and he's done some really good stuff, and some not so good stuff, admittedly. I think I'd be the first to admit that. But I think probably the first film we did was a film called Hardware, and it came out at the same time as Terminator, but done on a shoestring budget. It didn't have the James Cameron funds, put it that way. But it works, really, really well with these kind of people in the in the desert come across some mechanical stuff. It's part of a robot basically, and it's not a spoiler because it's kind of revealed very very early on. But these robots are, well, it's one of a clan of robots which were basically created presumably by the government to curb like overpopulation by like taking people out, and the person that finds it unknowingly resurrects it, I guess, and this thing just goes on an absolute killing spree. This will be the theme of the video: killing sprees on film. And it's really really good. Like I say, for the budget, it's very well shot. So he had a bit of success off the back of it. Was Harold, who's very very young. Harold is an up and coming director, and the next thing, or one of the next things he did was the Island of Dr. Moreau, which I don't know if anyone's seen that, but it's pretty so bad. It's good, but everything, we were chatting with him about it. I think originally it was like Bruce Willis was meant to be playing one of the key, or basically one of the main actors in it, but then he was going through his divorce just kicked off with Demi Moore. So he kind of pulled out from it, and then I think Val Kilmer had just done like the horrendous Batman movie was that he was in, and so he had a bit of time on his hands, and he kind of got involved in it. And they got Marlon Brando, but apparently Val Kilmer. It's two tales, I guess, two sides to each tale. But yeah, he was very hard to like to work with, and even like the script and just being, and so he just was pretty much a rebel. So this like I say, up and coming like director, and the size of the set as well, and the amount of extras. I think it was all a bit full on, and then I think it was shot in Australia, an island off Australia, and there was a massive, I think, like huge storm which basically took out most of the set. So a combination of things, literally a perfect storm, and he got pulled off the film. And there's a really good like documentary about the making of the film and all the stuff that went on, and even they got banished from it. He snuck back into the film like dressed up as an extra, and managed to kind of sneak in. But it's quite crazy some of the things that happened, and the Marlon Brando as well. The other fairly key thing was his daughter committed like suicide when they were filming it, so he just went off the rails, and crazy. So this guy, I think he lost faith in film in Hollywood and didn't do very much in terms of like directing. But a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, he directed a film called Colour Out of Space. It's an H.P. Lovecraft, based on an H.P. Lovecraft story, and phenomenal. And Nicolas Cage read the script, and he was kind of pushed for it to be made by all accounts. So Nicolas Cage is the main. It's like a family basically. He's the dad, and then there's Jolie Richardson, is his wife, and then predominantly the other. Might be wrong with a lot of the actors, rather very young, haven't been in very much, but it's outstanding. And again, it's without kind of spoilers, because it happens early on, but meteor hits the ground on the farm that they've moved to. I think they were both in the city, and they just wanted to escape the rat race. They go to this a bit of a rural life with like alpacas and things, and this meteor hits. And it's radioactive, and there's more than meets the eye. We'll leave it like that. But then delirium very early sets on, and then it kind of morphs into chaotic scenes. But it's a very good film. The way it's shot is beautiful. It's really very well done. Like literally in terms of colour out space, the colours on the screen and some of the prisms. It's quite mind blowing. But it's pretty gory as well. I guess it was a horror festival in the same tone. But this guy won the outstanding contribution or whatever for this year anyway, and so he was up on stage taking his award, and then there was a bit of a say after show part. There was after there was a ceremony that was that took place, and after that, the goblins, or goblin I should say, it's singular, a prog rock band that the main founders still in it, and arguably composes most of the keyboard player Claudio Simonetti. So, and then he's obviously the people around him, the other band members have probably come and gone over the years, but he composed some really key horror films, mainly for Dario Argento, kind of working hand in hand. And I love all things Dario Argento. And there was a playing of Profondo Rosso, which is deep red, in the background on the screen. This event, whilst him, a drummer, bassist, guitarist, were playing the soundtrack, and it was just it was phenomenal. So a bit of that, and that's probably about it. I hope if I've done my job, my YouTube job, hopefully I've posted a few little photos and things as I've been blabbering away. And then it was a bit of a going off on a slight tangent as we were moving between some of the events. There was almost like a Comic-Con going on, so we went in there and met David Lloyd, not the tennis player, but the artist for V for Vendetta, and really nice. Getting on a bit now in terms of age. Lovely, lovely British guy. So had a bit of banter with him, and kind of drew again. I'll get it on the screen, but a fairly iconic image that hopefully you recognise. And that was it. It was really, really good. Very compared to some things in London, certainly in the US, it was very on a far smaller scale. But in a lot of respects, it was nice because there wasn't that formality, and dare I say, there wasn't that kind of heavy security, and people just were mulling around. And we went even after the gig, the film showing. We went backstage, went on the stage, in fact, and we're just chatting with people. So it was super awesome. And that was it, guys. I probably should have done the video a bit sooner after the events. I've done a few post-its, which I've been looking down at, with a few key bits. I've probably forgotten some stuff, but that was awesome, and hopefully I can get back there in the future. And if anyone does have the opportunity to attend such a thing, I'd highly recommend it. And that's it. So cheers for watching. Cheers for all the support of the channel. Massively appreciated. And hope everyone is keeping well. All the best. Cheers.